Cleared for takeoff. The hamstring cost James Harden his last 2 games. Tonight he returns to perform on NBA TV. Nets looking to bounce back from losing yesterday to the Bulls. That was without Harden. Julius Randle and the Knicks were not pleased, to say the least, about the outcome of their last meeting with the Nets just a couple of weeks ago. They'll try and put together back-to-back wins, and you'll see it right here coming up in 30 minutes from right now as we welcome you in to the CarMax pregame show inside of our Atlanta studios with the 2007 Coach of the Year, Sam Mitchell. I'm Jared Greenberg. We've got Monday Night Hoops on the air for you, plus news that the Clippers are making with a 10-day contract. The Mavericks and the Wizards both playing shorthanded tonight. We'll get into all of that. First, as we welcome in the Hall of Famer and 2-time champion Isaiah Thomas, we need to know, America needs to know, is the Hoosier rooting for or against Gonzaga tonight?
I am rooting for Baylor.
I wonder why.
I want my 75, 76 Hoosier team led by Quinn Buckner, Scott May, Bobby Wilkerson, Kent Benson. I want them to hold on to that undefeated record and keep the Hoosiers intact.
Now, if that indeed happens, will you be providing any bubbly for them to pop?
Well, they're too young to drink the champagne, but
No, not the Baylor guys, your guys.
Oh, the old heads.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I was setting you up for a promo.
I'll send Quinn and Scott some, and they can share with the rest of their team.
Zeke, don't let them drink too much. They old, man. They'll be asleep after a couple glasses.
Hey, man, you know that Sherlon to do that to you.
I can speak from experience. Isaiah, appreciate you being with us here. Before we get to the college basketball national championship game tonight, we've got hoops to play here on NBA TV. Just at the top of the hour, the Nets, without Kevin Durant, there was some speculation. Steve Nash put it out there that maybe he could play tonight. He's not ready. Second night of a back-to-back, so no Blake Griffin. And the Nets took a huge blow yesterday by losing Tyler Johnson. He's going to miss at least a couple of weeks now. Okay, but let's talk about this Nets team who has had Kyrie Irving steadying the ship the last couple of games without James Harden, and he's taken over really that point guard role, and now he'll have to shift back with Harden returning.
But, Jared, for all the people who have been talking about this Nets team won't work, think about what they've done. Kyrie Irving goes off for a little sabbatical. No problem. James Harden takes care of things. Kevin Durant's gone for a month. No problem. Now, James Harden missed a couple of games. Kyrie Irving steps in and says, I will right this ship. This Nets team is talented. They know who they are. They have made a commitment to each other that we're going to do whatever's necessary to give us the best chance to win each and every night. And you're seeing that, and you're seeing this team evolve. And another thing we're not talking about, look how Steve Nash as a coach is evolving and getting better game by game. So a good friend of mine told me at the end of my rookie year as a coach, Jared, he said, after you coach 82 games, you're not a rookie coach anymore. After 72 regular season games, Steve Nash will not be a rookie. He will be ready for the playoffs and be ready to coach his team.
Well, he certainly had a lot of challenges thrown his way. Certainly many that coaches would welcome, right, with all the star power the Nets have had and with all the different lineups that he's had to throw out there. Again tonight, no KD, and there's also no Blake Griffin, but he will have LaMarcus Aldridge. Isaiah, yesterday, he had the pleasure of starting Blake and LaMarcus in the lineup for the first time together. Tonight, you know, it's going to be a little different without Blake, and we'll see the lineup that they throw out there. But it's interesting, all the pressure that's on the Nets this year because they're so attractive to veterans who have been bought out, like Blake and LaMarcus, who want to win a ring with this Nets team who they view as a true contender. What do you view as their role here as we come down the stretch with just about 25 games left in the season?
Well, there should be pressure on the Nets team because they're the most talented team in the NBA. And they have 5 All-Stars that they're capable of putting out on the floor. And when you look at Aldridge and you look at Griffin, who are not, carriers of teams anymore, these two now have the luxury of falling back and being, significant role players. And that's not a bad thing because you're taking a back seat to Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. So ego-wise, their ego isn't affected because the players that they're taking a back seat to, they respect those players. And again, from a talent standpoint, there should be pressure on them to win a championship. And anything less than that is an absolute failure for the Nets this year.
Yeah, I don't think that many people would disagree with that, Isaiah. LaMarcus yesterday, 11 points, 5 of 10 in a starting role. He'll start again tonight. This time, though, he'll start alongside Jeff Green. So Uncle Jeff and LaMarcus up front for the Nets against the Knicks tonight. And you look at the history of the buyout and the guys who signed. We're making a lot of it. It's really become much more popular over the last 5 years. Not to say it hasn't happened in the past, but look how infrequently one of these buyout guys actually signs with a new team, and that team ends up winning a championship. And not in every case here was it within the same season. Sometimes it's the year after.
Yeah, Jared, and when you look at this now, the new market, the buyout market is teams are looking to strengthen their team, and veteran players are looking to go where they can win a championship. And if you look at Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, some of the few things they've yet to accomplish, they've been all-stars, they've been on good teams, they've never put that chip on that finger. So this is going to give them a great opportunity. The thing that's amazing to me, Jared, before the buyout market, before these guys were available, everybody was talking about Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, they're done, they're too old, the teams that's jettisoned them, They don't fit. It's amazing when those guys' mindset change and they go to a new team and all of a sudden they have a chance to win every single night. It's amazing how much juice they still got left in the tank, right?
Well, your attitude.
As Karan Butler would say, they still got a lot tough juice left in the tank, baby.
Well, and also the attitude, right? Yeah. When you show up for a team that's got a chance to win a title. Earlier tonight, Kevin Durant was on the court warming up for the Nets. As I mentioned off the top, he's not ready to play just yet, as you see some moving pictures of him on the Barclays Center court here, Isaiah. So he's dealing with a hamstring. Obviously, they're being incredibly cautious. There was some speculation, as I mentioned, that he could play tonight. How much time, Isaiah, do you think this team, who's only gotten 7 games together with KD, Kyrie, and Harden together, 0 games with those 3 plus Blake and LaMarcus, how much time together do you think they need to feel good about going into the playoffs?
They'll feel good because they have enough talent. But Jared, the question that you're asking is a great one because, can they develop enough chemistry to feel good about themselves as a complete team? Now, individually, they'll all feel good because they have the individual talent. But coming together collectively as a team and sharing those team bonding moments that makes the chemistry work, that makes you one for all for one. I don't know if they're going to have enough time to do that because, this season is not, stressing them in a way because their talent, overwhelms everybody on any given night.
All right, let's look at their competition tonight. The Knicks, who have dropped their first 2 to the Nets. Knicks looking to make it back-to-back wins after 3 straight losses. Take a look at these standings, and this is cluttered. Do me a favor. Just focus in, if you will, on the loss column here, where the Knicks have 25 losses. The fact that they're at 500 now, remarkable. Tom Thibodeau's got an unbelievable job. He'll be in the Coach of the Year runnings, no question. But just as you start to feel good about the Knicks being in 7th, and you say, oh, man, in the loss column, they're just a game out of 4th. Problem is, they're also a game out of 9th place.
That's why, Jared, all these games are so important. That's why this part of the season down at the end of the stretch is going to be the best basketball because all these teams are playing for something. Now that we've extended it to the playoff, to top 10 teams, now you got 10 teams that are vying for a playoff spot. This is going to be fun. You look at this Knicks team. They got to lean on their defense. Julius Randle, an all-star, has been playing great, but they got to lean on their defense if they're going to close out because it would be a travesty for the Knicks to have played this well for so long and to end up in one of those playoff games and eventually missing the playoffs.
And remember, behind them right now is the Celtics, a team that believed coming into the year that they could compete for the title.
Got 2 All-Stars. They should be there.
Right. You've got Indiana, who has an all-star and has the talent. And you've got Chicago, who we can argue about where they are.
But they got 2 now.
They feel that they have enough. And the point that you always make, too, which I want to bring this up because you always love to make this point, you never know what's going to happen with injuries to another team. So there's no reason to wave the white flag at this point in the season. The Knicks, things could happen.
Well, Jared, look at the teams above you. If you're the Knicks, look at Brooklyn. Look at the injuries that they've had. Look at how Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, we don't know come playoff time if they'll be healthy. Philadelphia, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. We know they can miss sometimes. Yep. Milwaukee. So if you're the Knicks, you got to be in position to take advantage of some good luck, so to speak, if there's injuries or illness or whatever that happens during the course of the playoffs.
Isaiah, Julius Randle was so furious the last time the Knicks played the Nets. In fact, on that court, he had to be escorted off the court because he was so mad at the referees. This is a team that's looking to win back-to-back games after a 3-game losing streak. What do you expect out of Randle tonight?
Well, they'll go out and they'll compete. And that's the great thing that you like about the Knicks is that, they believe coming into every game, if they execute their game plan, they got a chance to win, regardless of the talent that they're playing against. And, we're looking at R.J. Barrett and Randle. What Thibodeau has done for both of these guys is given them tremendous confidence. And as a coach, that's what you want to do. You want to be able to inspire your players. You want them to be able to go beyond what they normally could. That's the mark of a good coach, bringing the best out of each individual player. And Thibodeau has done that, and he's done that by giving these players confidence. And they're not as talented as the Nets, right, but they believe that they can beat them.
Yeah, and in fact, they said yesterday, Reggie Bullock said, they've got a big 3, so what? We've got a big 5, and then Julius Randle said, no, we got a big 15.
Well, Jared, all that stuff, Zeke, all that stuff sounds good until you step on the floor and the referee throw that ball up. Then all the talk cease and the
we'll see that big 5 from the Knicks tonight. Knicks and Nets coming your way top of the hour right here on NBA TV. Also on League Pass a little later on tonight, you've got Luka the Don in action, but the Mavs short-handed. We'll dive into their matchup against the first-place Utah Jazz. It's all coming up on the CarMax pregame show.